Hey everybody, Shmooth here. Today we're in the Howling Fjord to talk about pets, and the pets you'll be using as a survival hunter in both PvE and PvP. Now, why would I want to be talking about this? Because a lot of people see high-end hunters using a specific pet, and they just copy it, without really thinking like, why do we use these pets, and are there alternatives? Which I want to go through today. Now, these are my pets. I never switch them out because they all have a specific use in both PvE and PvP. Especially the Raban and Shikuchi, my two pets. I use these a lot, and let's go into the reason why. Now, Raban is a undead, cunning raptor pet, meaning it has mortal wounds through its pet ability Savage Rend. It has Master's Call because it's a cunning pet, and Pathfinder because it's a cunning pet. What makes Raban special though is that he's undead, and undeads have the benefit of not being able to be sapped or polymorphed. And this is really important because those two schools really mess hunters up if a smart rogue or a smart mage polymorphs your pet before they burst you. This is because you can't use Roar of Sacrifice if your pet is CC'd, and Roar of Sacrifice is a very powerful cooldown, especially against fire mages and warriors, and sometimes rogues. So yeah, so if you want a number one pet to go after, definitely an undead pet, undead raptor. Doesn't have to be Raban, but this guy is the coolest looking. And that explains him. Now if we quickly go to the other pet I mentioned earlier, Shikuchi, a carrion bird. Now why is this important? Because it gives you, again, mortal wounds, and it's actually a ferocity pet. Now, you know, this gives you 10% leech and the ability to use bloodlust, but most of the time this bloodlust is can't use it in PvP, like arena. But the actually good thing about the pet is its bloodlust, or sorry, its leech. Because hunters are very squishy, in the sense that they can't recover HP very well. I mean, Craven, you know, different story, but recovering HP is very hard. So 10% leech, especially when you're out doing battlegrounds, and Master's Call isn't that important because, you know, varying skill levels, you're not expecting different things. So the 10% leech is a really, really good benefit because you're going to be doing damage from range and healing constantly thanks to leech with all your dots. And that's why, for open world stuff, you would honestly use a raven. No, sorry, not a raven, a carrion bird specifically, because that's the pet family. And yeah, that's why I have this guy. Now the other three pets. These are less important, but I think I'd mention them anyway, because they're fun. First, a scale hide. Now why would you want a scale hide? Because again, it gives you the leech, and gives you lust. However, it's such a good tank pet because of its ability, Scale Shield, which reduces damage by 50%. This allows you to solo really hard mobs in the open world, especially stuff like Zereth Mortis, where a lot of the rares have like 1,000,000 HP and they hit quite hard. And having a Scale Hide, not only it's healing itself from its auto attacks, but also from your mending, your mend pet, and its ability to tank up on a minute cooldown, makes it an amazing pet for soloing open world stuff. And I really wouldn't use this pet anywhere else except for open world and like soloing for reputation, or hell, even doing old raids. But a scale hide is very powerful, and you should probably get it, especially when the new expansion drops. I'll be using this pet for the entire leveling experience. Yep. Now the next pet is it's a bird. It's a cunning bird. I can't remember the breed, but you want this pet because, I mean, you don't have to get it, but it's just a fun thing to have. It applies a slow. So if you're versing like a warrior or something, or you're in multi PvP situation, multiplayer, you can send your pet in and kite it while constantly having them slowed. So you don't have to use a global on wing clip or even get in melee. Now, to be honest, I don't use her that often, but when I do, It's mostly just to archive people and make them suffer, really. So again, a very niche pick. Honestly, you could probably replace this bird with a normal raptor. So when you're doing arena, you can swap to normal raptor if you're not versus a rogue or a mage, which is very unlikely, but if the possibility's there. Because let's say a ret paladin bursts you, their Wake of Ash will stun your undead skeleton pet for 3 seconds, meaning you can't sacrifice yourself during their burst. So in that situation, I'd probably use a normal raptor instead. And lastly, we have a tank pet, Tenacity. I was testing this pet, especially in duels, because I tend to find if I'm unlucky with Aurora Sacrifice procs, or they get lucky with air crits, or just damage rolls, I die before the duel even starts, especially against Rogue. Because Rogues can literally just kill you in the opener if you don't respect their damage. And if you trinket in the opener, you'll probably lose if they're smart, because they'll blind you and try to go for a re-stealth. And yeah, so I was testing this pet out to see if the ability Survival of the Fittest helps, and it does. But again, this is a niche pick where I only really use this versus rogues. And yep, that's my stable. The 2 pets I use the most are these 2, the Ferocity with Mortal Strike and the Undead Raptor. Very fun pets. Especially the Leech. You actually notice the Leech a lot PvP. Like you don't passively know it, but at the end of the damage where you show how much healing you've done, it's actually not bad. So I recommend if you're running a Cunning pet right now, like the Undead Raptor, get the Ferocity pet a try, especially in BGs, where you will have to be more self-sufficient. Or 2v2 double DPS arenas. Because it does help a lot. So yep, that's it. Quickly want to go over my stable, why I run these pets, and how to use them efficiently. Thank you for watching, and I will be back in another video. Peace.